Imagine this. You're in a meeting, your heart is racing, and you have a brilliant idea that could change everything. But instead of speaking up, you hesitate. Fear creeps in. Your mind whispers, "What if I sound stupid? What if they judge me? What if I mess it up?" And just like that, the moment passes. We've all been there. Moments where silence feels safer than expression. Times when fear of judgment, rejection, or embarrassment chains our voice. The truth is, communication is not just about words, it's about confidence. And when you lack confidence, even the smartest ideas, the most valuable insights, and the deepest truths can remain buried inside you, unheard. Now think about the opposite. Imagine walking into that same room with a steady voice, a calm presence, and the ability to express your thoughts with clarity. People turn their heads when you speak, not because you're loud, but because you're confident. You don't stumble over words, you don't second-guess yourself. You simply say what you mean, without fear. That is the power of confident communication. Why confidence in communication matters. Communication is not just a soft skill. It is the life skill. Every opportunity, every relationship, every door that opens or closes in your life is influenced by how well you communicate. Think about it. Careers are built not just on talent, but on the ability to speak up, lead, and inspire. Relationships thrive when people express their needs, their boundaries, and their feelings with honesty. Leadership is impossible without clear, confident communication. When you master communication, you don't just learn how to talk. You learn how to connect, how to influence, and how to create impact. And that is why this book exists, to help you unlock the confidence you already have within, so you can say what you mean without fear. The hidden cost of fear. Fear is the silent killer of potential. It keeps you from raising your hand in class, from asking for that promotion, from telling someone how you really feel. Fear of speaking up isn't about lack of intelligence, it's about self-doubt. And when you allow fear to control your voice, you give others the power to define you. But here's the truth. Confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And just like building muscle in the gym, communication confidence can be trained, practiced, and strengthened. What you will learn in this audiobook. This audiobook is designed to be your step-by-step guide to speaking with confidence in any situation. Each chapter will give you practical tools, psychology-backed techniques, and real-life examples you can apply immediately. In the early chapters, we'll tackle the roots of communication fear and build your inner foundation of self-worth. Then, we'll dive into the outer skills: body language, vocal tone, presence, persuasion, and handling difficult conversations. Finally, we'll bring it all together. How to use these skills in your career, relationships, and daily life so you can walk away with unshakable confidence. By the time you finish, you'll not only understand how to communicate, you'll feel ready to step into every room, every conversation, and every challenge with courage and clarity. A journey, not a destination. Let me be clear. Confidence in communication is not about becoming the loudest voice in the room. It's not about dominating others or pretending to be someone you're not. True confidence is about authenticity. It's about speaking your truth with calmness, strength, and respect. This is not a quick fix. This is a journey. But if you commit to it, you will begin to notice small shifts. Your voice will steady, your words will flow, and people will listen to you in a way they never did before. And with each small step, your confidence will grow. Final thought before we begin. As you listen to this audiobook, I want you to remember one thing. Your voice matters. Your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, they are worthy of being heard. Fear may have silenced you in the past, but from this moment forward, you are taking back your voice. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and get ready to discover the life-changing power of communicating with confidence. Because when you learn to say what you mean without fear, you don't just change the way you speak, you change the way you live. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Confidence. Know your worth. Confidence in communication doesn't begin with words. It doesn't start with body language, tone of voice, or persuasive techniques. It starts much deeper. It starts with how you see yourself. You can memorize speaking techniques, learn how to stand tall, and even practice your delivery 1,000 times. But if you don't believe in your own worth, your words will never carry weight. They will always sound shaky, uncertain, or forced. That's why the true foundation of communication confidence is self-worth. Why self-worth shapes your voice. Think about this. Two people can say the exact same sentence, but it will be received completely differently depending on the confidence behind it. One person says, "I think we should try this idea." Their voice is flat, their eyes dart away, and their body says, "I'm not sure I believe in this." Another person says the exact same words, "I think we should try this idea." But this time, their tone is steady, their posture is open, and their eyes show certainty. The words didn't change. The difference was self-belief. When you believe in your worth, your communication reflects it. People feel it before you even finish speaking. They don't just hear your words, they trust them. The silent enemy, self-doubt. Most communication struggles are not about skill, they're about self-doubt. You may know exactly what you want to say, but the moment you start speaking, your inner critic comes alive. What if they think I'm wrong? What if I embarrass myself? Who am I to say this? These doubts weaken your voice. They steal the power from your words. And slowly, you start avoiding situations where your voice could matter most. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is not reality. It's a story you've been telling yourself. Somewhere along the way, maybe from criticism, failure, or fear, you started believing your voice wasn't good enough. But that's not the truth. It's just a habit of thought. The shift, from insecurity to inner strength. So how do you begin to break free? It starts with reframing the way you see yourself. Here's a simple truth. You do not need permission to speak. You do not need to be perfect to have value. You do not need to know all the answers to be worth listening to. Confidence grows when you stop trying to prove your worth and start accepting that you already have it. Practical steps to build your foundation. 1. Affirm your value daily. Confidence is not built in one giant leap. It's built in small, consistent reminders. Every day, affirm your worth. Say to yourself, "My voice matters. My ideas have value. I am enough." It may sound simple, even silly, but over time, these affirmations rewire the way you think. 2. Remember past wins. Your brain often focuses on failures more than successes. Take time to write down moments where your voice made a difference, whether it was a school presentation, a job interview, or simply giving good advice to a friend. Revisit these victories when fear tries to silence you. 3. Detach self-worth from outcome. Many people link their confidence to how others respond. If people agree, they feel confident. If people criticize, they feel worthless. This is a trap. True confidence comes when you separate your worth from the outcome. You speak because your voice deserves to be heard, not because everyone will clap. 4. Practice small acts of expression. Confidence is like a muscle. Start small. Speak up in everyday conversations. Share your opinion in a group chat. Ask a question in a meeting. These small wins build momentum until speaking up feels natural. Story: the young manager who found his voice. Let me share a quick story. There was a young manager named Arjun. He was smart, hardworking, and had great ideas, but he was terrified of speaking in front of senior leaders. In meetings, he stayed quiet, even when he knew his ideas could solve problems. One day, his mentor told him, "Arjun, stop waiting to be confident before you speak. Confidence comes from speaking, not before it." The next meeting, Arjun forced himself to speak just once. His voice trembled, but he did it. The world didn't end. In fact, his idea was accepted. Each time after that, it got easier. His worth wasn't measured by how perfect he sounded. It was measured by the courage to show up. Today, Arjun leads teams and speaks with power. Not because he erased all fear, but because he stopped letting fear define his worth. The core lesson. Here's what you must remember. Confidence in communication begins long before you open your mouth. It begins in the silent conversation you have with yourself. If you tell yourself you are not enough, your voice will always betray that belief. But if you tell yourself you matter, your words will carry authority. Action exercise for you. Before moving on, I want you to do this exercise. Write down 3 qualities you value about yourself. Not about what you do, but who you are. Maybe it's your honesty, your determination, or your creativity. Write down 3 moments where your voice had a positive impact, big or small. Keep this list somewhere you can see it every day. Let it remind you, your voice has value, and you deserve to be heard. Closing thought for Chapter 1. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that your voice matters more than your fear. When you know your worth, you no longer beg for permission to speak. You own your space. This is the foundation. Without it, communication techniques are just decoration. But with it, every word you speak gains strength. So as we move forward in this journey, remember, you already carry value inside you. And once you embrace it, the world will begin to hear it. Chapter 2. Breaking the Fear Barrier. Overcoming Anxiety in Conversations. If confidence begins with knowing your worth, then the next challenge is learning how to deal with the enemy that blocks your voice. Fear. Fear in communication is universal. Whether it's speaking in public, voicing an opinion at work, or simply starting a conversation with someone new, anxiety can strike without warning. The sweaty palms, the shaky voice, the racing heartbeat. It's as if your body betrays you in the very moment you need strength. But here's the truth. Fear is not a signal to stop. Fear is a signal that you're about to grow. Why fear controls us? Before we can overcome anxiety, we need to understand why it happens. Fear of speaking up is not about words, it's about survival. Thousands of years ago, being rejected or excluded from the tribe could mean death. Our brains are still wired with that ancient instinct. Today, when you stand in front of people or open your mouth in a group, your brain interprets it as a potential threat. What if they don't like me? What if I'm judged? What if I'm rejected? That's why your body reacts with fight or flight symptoms. Fast heartbeat, shallow breathing, dry mouth, shaky hands. Your nervous system is preparing you to survive. But here's the good news. You're not in danger. You're not facing a lion. You're facing other human beings. And once you understand this, you can learn to control it. Common forms of communication anxiety. Fear of speaking shows up in different ways. Public speaking anxiety, the most common fear, even more than death for some people. Social anxiety, avoiding conversations because you worry about awkwardness or rejection. Performance anxiety, feeling pressure in job interviews, presentations, or important conversations. Everyday fear, hesitating to speak up in small group settings or share your true feelings in relationships. Whatever form it takes, the root is the same. Fear of judgment. Breaking the fear barrier. Mindset shifts. 1. Shift from performance to connection. Most people feel anxious because they see conversations as performances to be judged. Instead, reframe it. You're not performing, you're connecting. You're not there to impress, you're there to share, to listen, to grow. This shift alone reduces pressure. 2. Realize fear is normal. Even the world's best speakers feel nervous before stepping on stage. The difference is, they don't run from it, they channel it. Fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care. 3. Your audience wants you to succeed. Here's something powerful. People are not waiting for you to fail. In fact, most audiences root for the speaker. They want you to do well because it makes the experience better for them too. Practical tools to defeat anxiety. 1. Breathing for calmness. When anxiety hits, your breathing becomes shallow, which makes you feel even more nervous. Practice this technique before speaking. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly for 6 to 8 seconds. This signals your nervous system to relax, calming your heart rate and steadying your voice. 2. Visualization for success. Athletes do this before competitions, and speakers can too. Close your eyes and picture yourself speaking confidently. Imagine the audience nodding, smiling, and engaging. Visualization programs your brain for success before it happens. 3. Gradual exposure. Don't wait for the big stage to practice. Start small. Speak up in casual conversations, ask a question in a meeting, or practice in front of a mirror. Each step desensitizes your fear, like building tolerance. 4. Rehearse, but don't memorize. Over-preparation can make anxiety worse. Instead of memorizing word for word, rehearse key points and trust yourself to speak naturally. This prevents the panic that comes when you forget a line. 5. Anchor yourself physically. When speaking, plant your feet firmly on the ground. Use open body language. Physical grounding reduces the floating feeling anxiety creates and makes you look more confident. Story: The Student Who Transformed. Let me share a story. Maya, a university student, dreaded speaking in class. Every time she was called on, her throat tightened, and she could barely get a sentence out. She felt humiliated, and over time, she avoided participation altogether. One professor noticed and gave her advice: start small. Don't wait for big speeches. Just raise your hand once per class. Even if you only say one sentence, that's progress. Maya followed the advice. At first, her voice trembled, but each time it became easier. She began practicing deep breathing before speaking. She visualized herself answering confidently. Over the semester, something amazing happened. Her anxiety didn't vanish completely, but it no longer controlled her. She began to enjoy discussions. By graduation, Maya gave a speech at the ceremony, a moment she once thought was impossible. Her fear didn't disappear. It was transformed into fuel for growth. Key psychological tricks. Name the fear. Say out loud, "I'm nervous and that's okay." This normalizes the feeling instead of resisting it. Focus on service, not self. Ask yourself, how can my words help others? Focusing on value shifts attention away from your own nerves. Use pauses. Silence feels scary, but it's powerful. Pausing lets you breathe, gather thoughts, and appear more in control. Smile genuinely. Smiling releases endorphins that relax your body and put others at ease. Action exercise for you. Fear journal. Write down situations where fear holds you back from speaking. Note how your body reacts and what thoughts appear. This awareness breaks the cycle. Anxiety ladder. List communication tasks from least to most scary, e.g., greeting a stranger, speaking up in a meeting, giving a presentation. Start with the easiest and gradually climb the ladder. Fear reframe. Before any conversation, instead of saying, "I'm nervous," say, "I'm excited." Anxiety and excitement feel similar in the body. The difference is how you label it. Closing thought for Chapter 2. Fear is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Every time you face anxiety and still speak, you train your mind to understand. I can survive this. I can do this. Breaking the fear barrier doesn't mean eliminating nervousness forever. It means refusing to let fear silence your voice. With each breath, each small step, each brave moment, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your confidence. Remember, Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking despite the fear. And once you realize that, no conversation will ever feel impossible again. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Presence. How to Command Attention. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and instantly draw attention, without even saying a word? It's not because they're the loudest, or the best dressed, or even the most important person there. It's because they have presence. Presence is that invisible quality that makes people lean in when you speak, respect your silence, and remember your words long after the conversation ends. It's not about being flashy or arrogant. It's about creating a magnetic energy that says, I belong here and what I have to share matters. And here's the secret. Presence is not something you're born with. It's something you can cultivate. What is presence? Presence is the combination of mindset, body language, and focus that makes you fully engaged in the moment. When you are present, people sense authenticity. They feel that you are not distracted, not faking, not rushing. You are there. Think of the leaders, teachers, or speakers who inspired you most. It wasn't just their words. It was the way they carried themselves, the calmness in their voice, the steady eye contact, the feeling that they were talking to you, not just at you. That's presence in action. Why presence commands attention. Attention is the most valuable currency in communication. In a world filled with noise, social media, notifications, endless distractions, being able to hold someone's attention is power. Here's why presence matters. People trust you more. Presence signals confidence and authenticity. Your message carries weight. A steady, grounded presence makes even simple words feel important. You inspire respect without demanding it. People naturally give attention to those who command the room calmly, not forcefully. Presence is less about what you say and more about how you show up when you say it. The psychology behind presence. 1. Focus creates magnetism. When you give someone your full attention, eye contact, listening deeply, being fully engaged, they feel valued. Humans are wired to crave recognition, and presence provides it. 2. Calmness signals power. In psychology, calmness is associated with control. When you stay composed under pressure, people subconsciously view you as a leader. 3. Confidence is contagious. Studies in social psychology show that emotions spread quickly in groups. A confident presence can elevate an entire room, while nervous energy can drag it down. Building presence. Practical steps. 1. Control your body language. Your body speaks before your words do. Stand tall with shoulders relaxed. Posture communicates confidence. Keep movements steady and purposeful. Avoid fidgeting. Use open gestures, palms slightly visible, arms uncrossed, body facing forward. A simple rule: the more space you take comfortably, the more presence you project. 2. Master eye contact. Eye contact is the bridge of presence. Too little, and you seem insecure. Too much, and you seem intimidating. The sweet spot is holding eye contact long enough to connect, then naturally shifting. In groups, sweep your gaze across people, making each person feel included. 3. Own your voice. Your voice is your instrument of presence. Speak with clarity. Don't rush. Use pauses. Silence can be more powerful than words. Vary your tone. Emphasis creates impact. A rushed, monotone voice loses attention. A calm, expressive voice commands it. 4. Slow down your presence. Most nervous people rush through conversations. But powerful communicators slow down. They walk into a room calmly. They don't jump into speaking immediately. They take a breath, ground themselves, and then begin. That pause signals confidence. Story: the teacher who commanded a room. Let me share a story. There was a high school teacher named Mr. Anand. He wasn't flashy, he didn't shout, and he wasn't strict. But the moment he entered the classroom, the noise would settle. Students would straighten up. Everyone would listen. What was his secret? Presence. He walked into the room with calmness, stood tall, and made deliberate eye contact with the class. He spoke slowly, as if each word mattered. He never tried to fight for attention. He simply commanded it by the way he carried himself. Years later, students still remembered not just what he taught, but how he made them feel. That's the power of presence. Inner presence, the role of mindset. External presence, body language, voice, posture, is important. But it won't work unless you have inner presence. Inner presence is about believing you deserve to be there. When you feel insecure, people sense it. When you feel grounded in your worth, people sense that too. Here's how to cultivate inner presence. Silence the inner critic. Before speaking, remind yourself, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be real. Ground yourself. Take 3 deep breaths before entering a room or conversation. Imagine roots connecting your body to the ground, stable, unshakable. Stay in the moment. Instead of worrying about what to say next, focus fully on the current moment. Presence is about being here, now. Exercises to strengthen presence. The power pause practice. Every day, practice speaking a short sentence, then pausing for 2 seconds before continuing. This trains you to own silence instead of fearing it. Mirror presence exercise. Stand in front of a mirror and practice holding steady eye contact with yourself while speaking calmly. Notice your posture, gestures, and voice. Record yourself. Record a short video of yourself speaking. Watch it back, not to judge, but to observe how you come across. Do you rush? Do you fidget? Do you look distracted? Awareness is the first step to control. Presence walk. When walking into a room, slow down your steps intentionally. Smile slightly, breathe deeply, and scan the room calmly. This builds the habit of entering spaces with authority. Closing thought for Chapter 3. Presence is not about pretending to be someone else. It's not about dominating others or being the loudest voice. Presence is about authenticity, calmness, and focus. When you master presence, people don't just hear your words, they feel your energy. And in a noisy world, that's what makes you unforgettable. So remember this. Confidence begins with self-worth, fear is broken through courage, but presence is the bridge that makes your voice impossible to ignore. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into the physical side of presence. Body language secrets. Speak before you even say a word. Chapter 4. Body language secrets. Speak before you even say a word. Before you ever say a single word, people have already formed an impression of you. Think about the last time you met someone new. Within seconds, before they even opened their mouth, you probably had a sense of whether they seemed confident, nervous, approachable, or distant. How did you know? Through their body language. Research shows that up to 70% of communication is nonverbal. That means your gestures, posture, facial expressions, and movements often communicate more than the words you choose. Your body speaks first, and if it doesn't match your words, people believe the body, not the mouth. If you want to communicate with confidence, you must master this silent language. Why body language matters. Your body language does 3 powerful things. It sets the tone. People notice your posture and energy before they hear your words. It amplifies your message. Strong gestures and expressions add weight to your speech. It reveals your emotions. Even if you try to hide fear or doubt, your body often exposes it. The good news? With awareness and practice, you can align your body language to project confidence, authenticity, and influence. Core principles of confident body language. 1. Posture. Own your space. Confidence begins with posture. A slouched back, hunched shoulders, or crossed arms signal insecurity or defensiveness. Instead, stand tall with your shoulders relaxed and chest slightly open. Keep your feet planted firmly, hip-width apart. Lean slightly forward when engaging. This shows interest and authority. Think of posture as your physical anchor. When you stand tall, you feel tall inside. 2. Eye contact, the window of connection. Eye contact is one of the most powerful nonverbal tools. It builds trust, signals confidence, and shows attentiveness. Hold eye contact for 2 to 3 seconds at a time before naturally shifting. When speaking to a group, sweep your eyes across the room to include everyone. Avoid darting eyes. They signal nervousness or dishonesty. Balanced eye contact says, "I see you, and I want you to see me." 3. Facial expressions. Let your face speak. Your face should support your words. A monotone face creates disconnection. Smile genuinely when greeting others. It instantly builds warmth. Use expressions to match your message: enthusiasm, concern, curiosity. Avoid excessive frowning, tight lips, or blank stares. These signal discomfort. Remember, people often trust faces more than words. 4. Gestures. Amplify, don't distract. Gestures can make your communication more dynamic, but they must be natural and purposeful. Use open gestures with your palms slightly visible. This signals honesty. Keep gestures within the frame of your body, not too wild or too stiff. Avoid fidgeting, tapping, or playing with objects. These reveal nerves. Great communicators use gestures as visual underlines for their key points. 5. Proximity and space, the invisible message. How you use space speaks volumes. Standing too far away may signal disinterest. Standing too close may feel intrusive. Adjust based on the context. In professional settings, keep a respectful distance of about 2 to 4 feet. In personal conversations, closer proximity can build intimacy and trust. Always respect cultural differences. Personal space boundaries vary worldwide. The power of first impressions. Studies show that people form an impression of you within the first 7 seconds of meeting. Body language is the main factor. Do you walk in confidently or nervously? Do you shake hands firmly or weakly? Do you smile warmly or look distracted? These small details set the stage for how your words will be received. Story: the job interview that changed everything. Let's look at an example. Priya, a recent graduate, had all the qualifications for her dream job. But at interviews, she often failed. Not because of her skills, but because her body language betrayed her. She slouched in her chair, avoided eye contact, and fidgeted with her hands. Interviewers assumed she lacked confidence. One career coach taught her 3 body language shifts. Enter the room with upright posture and a genuine smile. Keep steady eye contact while answering questions. Rest her hands calmly on the table, using occasional open gestures. The next interview, she applied these. Her answers hadn't changed, but her body language did. This time, she got the job. Her success wasn't just about what she said, it was about how she carried herself. Psychological insights on body language. Mirroring builds rapport. People subconsciously like those who mirror their body language. Subtle mirroring of gestures, posture, or tone creates trust and connection. Power poses increase confidence. Studies by Amy Cuddy suggest that standing in power poses, hands on hips, chest open, for 2 minutes can lower stress hormones and increase confidence. Crossed arms signal defense. While not always negative, crossed arms often suggest discomfort or resistance. Keep an open posture when possible. Practical exercises. Posture reset drill. Stand against a wall with your heels, hips, shoulders, and head touching it. Step forward while maintaining this posture. This trains your body to stay upright. Eye contact practice. During conversations, consciously hold eye contact for the length of a sentence before looking away. Build comfort gradually. Smile challenge. Practice greeting strangers or colleagues with a warm smile each day. Notice how they respond. It often sets a positive tone instantly. Gesture awareness. Record yourself giving a short talk. Watch your gestures. Are they distracting? Too stiff? Practice using open, natural movements. Common mistakes to avoid. Overthinking. Forced body language feels fake. Focus on being natural, not robotic. Overgesturing. Too many hand movements distract from your words. Less is often more. Poor posture in seated settings. Slouching in meetings signals disinterest. Sit tall with feet grounded. Fake smiles. People can spot insincerity. Aim for genuine warmth. Closing thought for Chapter 4. Your words matter, but your body speaks first. Confident body language isn't about acting like someone else. It's about aligning your inner belief with your outer presence. When your posture is strong, your eyes are steady, your gestures are open, and your expressions are authentic. You send a clear message before you ever speak. I am confident. I am here. And what I say matters. Master this silent language, and you'll notice something powerful. People will not only hear your words, they'll feel your presence. In the next chapter, we'll explore another vital tool of confidence: the power of voice, tone, pace, and clarity that inspire trust. Chapter 5. The power of voice, tone, pace, and clarity that inspire trust. Words are powerful. But here's the truth. How you say something often matters more than what you say. Imagine two people saying the exact same sentence. One speaks with energy, warmth, and confidence. The other mumbles, speaks too fast, or sounds unsure. Who do you trust more? The first one, right? That's because your voice carries emotion, authority, and presence. It shapes how people feel about you long before they analyze your words. In fact, studies show that listeners judge a speaker's confidence and trustworthiness within just a few seconds of hearing their voice. So, if you want to communicate with confidence, mastering your tone, pace, and clarity is non-negotiable. Why your voice matters. Your voice does three powerful things in communication. It creates connection. A warm, clear voice invites people to listen. It builds trust. A steady tone signals credibility and confidence. It inspires emotion. The right pace and inflection make your message memorable. Think of your voice as your personal instrument. If you know how to play it well, people will tune in. The three pillars of a powerful voice. 1. Tone, the emotion behind your words. Tone is the music of your speech. It carries the emotional meaning behind the message. A warm tone builds friendliness and approachability. A firm tone creates authority. A calm tone brings reassurance. A harsh tone may create resistance. Tip: smile before speaking. Smiling physically softens your tone and makes your voice sound more pleasant. Imagine a leader announcing difficult news. If their tone is panicked, the team feels fear. If their tone is calm but firm, the team feels secure. The words may be the same, but the impact is completely different. 2. Pace, the rhythm of confidence. Your pace is the speed at which you speak. Speaking too fast makes you seem nervous, rushed, or unprepared. Speaking too slow may bore the listener or make you sound uncertain. A balanced pace shows confidence and allows the listener to absorb your words. The key: vary your pace. Speed up slightly when sharing excitement and slow down when emphasizing important points. This creates a natural rhythm that keeps people engaged. Exercise: record yourself reading a short paragraph. Play it back and ask, would I enjoy listening to this pace for 10 minutes? Adjust until it feels natural yet confident. 3. Clarity, the art of being understood. Clarity is about pronouncing your words so they land clearly. Avoid mumbling or trailing off at the end of sentences. Open your mouth enough to project your voice. Emphasize keywords to highlight your main points. Clarity doesn't mean sounding robotic. It means being deliberate enough that people don't struggle to understand you. Think of great speakers like Martin Luther King Jr. or Oprah. Their words land with clarity and intention. That's what makes them unforgettable. Voice and psychology. Why people trust certain speakers. The psychology of the human brain shows us that listeners subconsciously react to vocal cues. Deeper voices are often associated with authority and leadership. Varied pitch keeps attention, while monotone voices lose it. Strong volume signals confidence, but too loud can feel aggressive. Pauses show control, giving weight to your words. That's why skilled communicators don't just talk, they perform with their voice. The silent power of pauses. One of the most underrated tools in communication is the pause. Pausing before a big point builds anticipation. Pausing after a statement gives the listener time to absorb it. Pausing instead of using fillers like or makes you sound more polished. Remember, silence isn't weakness. It's power. Story: the nervous speaker who found his voice. Raj, a young professional, dreaded public speaking. Whenever he presented at meetings, he spoke too quickly, stumbled over words, and avoided eye contact. His ideas were strong, but his delivery made him seem unsure. One coach gave him 3 pieces of advice. Practice reading slowly aloud for 10 minutes a day. Record himself and eliminate filler words. Add intentional pauses after each important point. Within weeks, his colleagues noticed the change. His words were the same, but his tone was stronger, his pace calmer, and his clarity sharper. Suddenly, people listened with respect. His voice had transformed his presence. Practical exercises to improve your voice. The deep breath drill. Stand tall. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale slowly. Practice speaking a full sentence on one breath. This strengthens projection and reduces shaky voice. Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror. Speak a few lines while smiling, then while serious. Notice how tone shifts with facial expression. Pause and emphasize. Read a paragraph aloud. Insert a 2-second pause after each sentence. Boldly emphasize one word per sentence. This teaches control and clarity. Voice warm-up. Before an important conversation, hum for 30 seconds. This relaxes your vocal cords and gives your voice a richer tone. Common mistakes to avoid. Speaking in monotone. Flat delivery loses attention. Use pitch variety. Rushing. Nerves make us speed up. Slow down deliberately. Trailing off. Finish sentences with strength, not weakness. Too many fillers. Replace and with pauses. Whispering or shouting. Aim for steady, confident volume. The connection between voice and confidence. Your voice is directly linked to your emotional state. When you're nervous, your voice often shakes or speeds up. But here's the secret. It works the other way too. When you deliberately control your voice, you begin to feel more confident inside. This is why singers, actors, and leaders practice vocal training. They know that controlling the voice isn't just about sounding good, it's about becoming powerful. Closing thought for Chapter 5. Your voice is more than sound. It's your signature. It's the difference between being ignored and being remembered. When your tone is warm, your pace balanced, and your clarity sharp, people not only hear your words, they trust you. They feel your confidence. They are moved by your presence. So, the next time you speak, whether in a meeting, a conversation, or on stage, remember, your voice is the bridge between your ideas and the hearts of your listeners. Use it wisely, and you will inspire trust, respect, and action. In the next chapter, we'll explore another game changer, listening like a leader, how to make people feel heard and valued. Chapter 6, Listening like a Leader, How to make people feel heard and valued. When most people think about communication, they think about talking. They focus on the words they use, their body language, or the power of their voice. But here's a secret. The most influential communicators in the world aren't just great speakers. They are great listeners. Why? Because listening is what builds trust, connection, and respect. People don't remember every word you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. And nothing makes people feel more valued than when you truly listen to them. In this chapter, we're going to uncover the psychology, skills, and habits that will help you listen like a leader. The power of listening. When you really listen, several things happen instantly. People feel respected. They feel safe to express themselves. They trust you more. They open up and share more information. In leadership, relationships, or everyday conversations, listening transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful connections. Think of someone in your life who always listens without interrupting, judging, or rushing you. How do you feel around them? Probably calm, respected, and understood. That's the effect of a true listener. Why most people don't listen. Let's be honest. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. They're waiting for their turn to talk. They're distracted by their phone or thoughts. They interrupt with advice before the other person finishes. The result? The speaker feels ignored or unimportant. Leaders who act this way lose trust. Friends who act this way lose closeness. But when you commit to real listening, you stand out. You become memorable. You become someone others want to talk to. The psychology of feeling heard. Human beings crave validation. At the core of every conversation, people are often asking one unspoken question: do I matter to you? When you listen actively, you're answering, yes, you matter. Yes, I hear you. Yes, your voice counts. That's why listening is not a passive act, it's an active tool of influence. The 4 levels of listening. Ignoring. You're not paying attention at all. Pretending. You nod and smile, but your mind is elsewhere. Selective listening. You hear only what you want. Active listening. You give full attention, seek understanding, and respond with care. True leaders operate at level 4. Practical skills for listening like a leader. 1. Give full attention. Put the phone away. Turn toward the person. Maintain eye contact. Small signals like these say, you have my full focus. 2. Use silence wisely. Don't rush to fill every gap. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is wait. Silence allows the other person to think and share deeper truths. 3. Reflect and paraphrase. When someone speaks, reflect back part of what they said. It sounds like you're feeling frustrated. So, what I hear is that you want more clarity. This shows you're not only hearing the words but also the meaning. 4. Ask open-ended questions. Encourage people to share more by asking questions that can't be answered with just yes or no. What was that experience like for you? How did that make you feel? What would you like to see happen next? 5. Listen without judgment. Sometimes people just need to be heard, not fixed. Avoid rushing into solutions. Instead, create a safe space where they can express themselves fully. Story: the CEO who changed by listening. There's a famous story about a CEO who was losing the trust of his employees. He believed he had to talk more, give more speeches, and push harder. But the more he talked, the less his team felt connected. One day, a mentor told him, "Stop talking so much. Start listening." The CEO began holding weekly sessions where employees could share concerns while he only listened. He asked clarifying questions but didn't interrupt. Within months, morale improved, creativity flowed, and the company culture shifted. Why? Because people finally felt heard. The power wasn't in his speeches, it was in his silence. The link between listening and leadership. Here's the truth. People don't follow leaders because they talk the loudest. They follow leaders who make them feel seen, heard, and understood. Great communicators listen more than they speak. Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, all were known as attentive listeners before they were powerful speakers. Exercises to improve listening. The 2-minute rule. In your next conversation, let the other person talk for 2 full minutes before you respond. This trains patience and deep listening. Echo technique. Repeat one key phrase the speaker said, then ask them to expand on it. This shows you're engaged. Distraction detox. For one day, put away your phone in all conversations. Notice how people respond when they have your full attention. Emotional check-in. When listening, ask yourself, what is this person really feeling beneath their words? This builds empathy. Common mistakes to avoid. Interrupting. Cutting people off makes them feel disrespected. Offering unwanted advice. Sometimes people need ears, not solutions. Multitasking. Dividing your attention destroys connection. Finishing sentences. It makes people feel rushed or dismissed. Listening in personal relationships. Listening isn't just for business. It's the foundation of strong personal bonds. When your partner, child, or friend feels truly heard, conflicts shrink, love grows, and trust deepens. Think about it. How many arguments could be avoided if both sides just listened with patience instead of trying to win the conversation? Closing thought for Chapter 6. Listening is not weakness, it's strength. It's not silence, it's influence. When you listen like a leader, you're not just collecting words, you're collecting trust. You're showing people they matter. And when people feel valued, they give you their loyalty, respect, and love. So, the next time you sit down for a conversation, remember, your ears may be your most powerful communication tool. Use them well. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of asking questions, unlocking deeper connections and meaningful conversations. Chapter 7. The Art of Asking Questions. Unlocking deeper connections and meaningful conversations. If listening is the heart of communication, then asking questions is the soul. Why? Because questions open doors. They invite stories, reveal truths, and create connections that statements alone can't achieve. A good question can turn a shallow exchange into a meaningful conversation. It can uncover opportunities, resolve conflicts, and even transform relationships. Great leaders, great friends, and great communicators all share one skill. They know how to ask the right questions at the right time. In this chapter, we'll explore the psychology of questions, the types of questions that create trust and connection, and how you can use this skill to communicate with confidence. Why questions are so powerful. Think about it. When someone asks you a genuine question, how do you feel? You feel important. You feel valued. You feel seen. Questions shift the focus from you to the other person. They say, I care about your thoughts. I care about your experience. I want to know you better. That's why questions are more than words. They're a signal of respect. The psychology behind questions. Human beings are wired to respond to questions. When asked something, our brain automatically searches for an answer. It's called the question instinct. That's why skillful questioning can guide conversations, reveal hidden truths, and build trust quickly. But here's the catch. Not all questions are equal. Some questions open minds. Others shut them down. The 2 types of questions. 1. Closed questions. Closed questions usually begin with words like do, is, or are. They can be answered with a simple yes or no. Do you like your job? Is this project finished? Closed questions are useful for facts, but they rarely deepen connection. 2. Open-ended questions. Open questions begin with words like what, how, or why. They invite reflection and storytelling. What do you enjoy most about your work? How did that experience change you? Why do you think that happened? Open questions make people feel heard and valued. They lead to longer, richer conversations. Asking questions like a leader. Leaders don't just give instructions. They ask questions that inspire thought and action. Here are some ways to do the same. 1. Ask with curiosity, not judgment. Tone matters. Why did you do that? Asked in anger shuts people down. But, I'm curious, why did you choose that approach? Invites honesty. 2. Ask to understand, not to control. Don't ask questions just to prove a point. Ask to genuinely understand. People can sense when your question is loaded or manipulative. 3. Ask follow-up questions. The first answer is rarely the full story. Follow up with, "That's interesting. Can you tell me more?" What happened next? This shows real interest and builds deeper trust. Story: the manager who transformed his team. A manager named Arjun struggled with his team. Projects were delayed, and morale was low. His instinct was to give more orders, push harder, and talk more. But the more he pushed, the less engaged his team became. One day, he changed his approach. Instead of telling people what to do, he started asking questions. What challenges are you facing right now? What resources would help you succeed? How can I support you better? To his surprise, his team opened up. They shared hidden struggles, offered solutions, and felt more ownership. Within months, productivity improved, not because Arjun spoke more, but because he asked more. The lesson? Sometimes the most powerful leaders aren't the ones with the answers. They're the ones with the best questions. The golden questions for connection. Here are some powerful categories of questions you can use in everyday life. Exploring experiences. What's been the highlight of your week so far? What's one challenge you've overcome recently? Uncovering values. What matters most to you in this situation? What do you enjoy most about your work or studies? Encouraging reflection. What did you learn from that experience? If you could do it again, what would you change? Strengthening relationships. What do you need from me right now? How can I be a better friend, partner, or leader to you? These kinds of questions don't just gather information. They build trust and strengthen bonds. The role of listening in questioning. Here's a key truth. Asking questions only works if you're ready to listen. If you ask a question but cut the person off, you destroy trust. If you ask but don't care about the answer, people will sense it. Questions and listening go hand in hand. They are two sides of the same coin. Practical exercises. Replace small talk with big talk. Next time someone asks, "How are you?" instead of replying, "Fine," respond with, "I'm good. What's been the best part of your day so far?" Notice how the conversation instantly deepens. The three-question rule. In every conversation, ask at least 3 meaningful questions before you talk about yourself. This builds stronger connections. Question journal. At the end of the day, write down the best question you asked and the best answer you received. Over time, this sharpens your questioning skills. Common mistakes to avoid. Interrogating. Asking too many rapid-fire questions makes people feel pressured. Balance curiosity with patience. Leading questions. Don't you think this was a bad idea? This isn't real curiosity, it's manipulation. Asking without listening. Don't ask just to move the conversation along. Ask because you want to hear the response. Why overload? Asking why. Too often can feel confrontational. Mix it with what and how for balance. Closing thought for Chapter 7. Questions are keys. Each one can unlock a new story, a new perspective, or a new level of connection. When you learn the art of asking questions, you transform from just a talker into a true communicator. You stop filling the silence with noise and start filling it with meaning. So, the next time you enter a conversation, don't just think about what you'll say. Think about what you'll ask. Because the right question, asked with curiosity and care, has the power to change not just the conversation, but the relationship. In the next chapter, we'll explore the confidence loop, practicing until communication becomes natural. Chapter 8. The confidence loop, practicing until communication becomes natural. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop, moment by moment, conversation by conversation. Think about learning a skill like playing an instrument or riding a bike. At first, it feels awkward, even uncomfortable. You stumble, make mistakes, and wonder if you'll ever get it right. But over time, as you practice consistently, it becomes second nature. The same principle applies to communication. Speaking confidently is a skill, and like all skills, it improves through intentional practice and repetition. In this chapter, we're going to explore the concept of the confidence loop, a cycle of action, feedback, reflection, and improvement that transforms nervous speakers into natural, confident communicators. What is the confidence loop? The confidence loop is a simple but powerful cycle. Action. Step into a conversation, give a presentation, or speak your thoughts. Observation. Notice what worked and what didn't. Feedback. Seek constructive input from others or self-assess honestly. Adjustment. Implement changes and improvements for next time. Each loop strengthens your skill, builds confidence, and reduces fear. Over time, communication becomes automatic and natural, rather than forced or stressful. Why practice is key. Many people assume confidence is innate. They believe that some people are just naturally good at speaking. That's a myth. Neuroscience shows that the brain forms new neural pathways through repetition. Every time you practice a skill, even imperfectly, you strengthen those pathways. Over time, the skill becomes habitual, and your confidence grows naturally. The more you speak, the less intimidating communication feels. Fear diminishes, clarity improves, and your presence becomes more powerful. Steps to build your confidence loop. 1. Take action daily. Confidence grows in the doing. Start small if you need to. Speak up in a team meeting. Start a conversation with a stranger. Share an idea or opinion at home or work. Even small victories matter. Each action is a step on the path to mastery. 2. Observe yourself. After each conversation or presentation, reflect. What went well? Where did I hesitate? How did my body language and voice feel? Observation is not self-criticism. It's learning data for improvement. 3. Seek feedback. Feedback is a gift. Ask someone you trust. How did I come across? Was I clear and confident? Any tips for improvement? Other people often notice blind spots you can't see. 4. Adjust and experiment. Use the information from observation and feedback to tweak your approach. Practice speaking slower. Use more pauses. Adjust body language or gestures. Experiment with tone or phrasing. This cycle of action, observation, feedback, and adjustment creates rapid growth. Story. The speaker who became a leader. Anita was terrified of public speaking. She avoided presentations and felt anxious whenever asked to speak in meetings. One day, she decided to commit to improvement. She started with the confidence loop. Action. She volunteered to lead a small team meeting. Observation. She noticed she rushed through sentences and avoided eye contact. Feedback. A colleague suggested slowing down and making deliberate pauses. Adjustment. In the next meeting, she focused on pace and body language. She repeated this process weekly. Within months, Anita transformed. She no longer dreaded speaking, she looked forward to it. Her confidence spread to her team, and she eventually led major company presentations with poise. The key wasn't talent, it was consistent practice within the confidence loop. Practical exercises to build your confidence loop. 1. Daily mini-action. Take one small step every day to speak intentionally. Examples. Ask a thoughtful question in a meeting. Compliment someone sincerely. Share your opinion on a discussion topic. 2. Self-reflection journal. After each conversation, write down one thing you did well, one thing you could improve, one actionable step for next time. 3. Record yourself. Record a short video or audio of yourself speaking. Watch it critically. Notice tone, pace, body language, and clarity. Adjust for the next recording. 4. Practice with safe audiences. Start with friends, family, or supportive colleagues. Gradually expand to larger or more formal groups. This reduces fear and builds gradual exposure. 5. Celebrate wins. Every improvement, no matter how small, deserves recognition. Celebrating wins reinforces positive behavior and strengthens confidence. The role of mindset in the confidence loop. Your mindset is the fuel for this loop. Here's how to cultivate it. Embrace imperfection. Mistakes aren't failures, they're learning opportunities. Every stumble is data for growth. Focus on progress, not perfection. Each loop is a step forward. Don't compare yourself to others. Visualize success. Imagine yourself communicating confidently before the actual interaction. Visualization strengthens your brain's pathways for success. Reframe nervousness as excitement. Anxiety and excitement feel similar physically. Labeling it as excitement helps you channel energy positively. Common obstacles and how to overcome them. Fear of judgment. Remember, most people are focused on themselves, not scrutinizing you. Inconsistency. Confidence grows gradually. Missing a day isn't failure. Just return to the loop. Overthinking. Avoid analyzing every word. Focus on action first, reflection second. Impatience. Mastery takes time. Consistent effort compounds into natural confidence. Long-term benefits of the confidence loop. Automatic confidence. Over time, speaking confidently becomes second nature. Reduced anxiety. Repeated exposure diminishes fear and nervousness. Improved presence. Body language, voice, and tone naturally align with your growing confidence. Stronger relationships. People respond positively to consistent, confident communication. Leadership potential. Leaders are made, not born. Confidence loops create natural influence. Closing thought for Chapter 8. The confidence loop is a reminder that confidence is a practice, not a gift. Every conversation, question, or presentation is an opportunity to take action, observe, get feedback, and improve. The more loops you complete, the more natural your communication becomes. Fear fades, clarity rises, and presence strengthens. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each step you take compounds, and eventually, speaking with poise, clarity, and authenticity becomes effortless. So start today. Take one small action. Observe, adjust, and repeat. This is how communication becomes natural. This is how confidence becomes your default. In the next chapter, we'll explore handling difficult conversations. Speak firmly without losing respect, an essential skill for any confident communicator. Chapter 9. Handling difficult conversations. Speak firmly without losing respect. Every communicator faces them. The conversations you dread. The moments where tension rises, emotions flare, and the stakes feel high. Difficult conversations are inevitable, whether at work, at home, or in friendships. But here's the truth. How you handle these conversations determines your confidence, your influence, and the quality of your relationships. Avoiding or mishandling difficult conversations may create short-term comfort, but long-term consequences include misunderstandings, resentment, and lost respect. On the other hand, approaching them with skill can strengthen trust, resolve conflicts, and build your credibility. In this chapter, we'll break down the psychology, strategies, and practical steps to navigate these conversations with confidence and grace. Why difficult conversations are hard. Difficult conversations trigger a natural human response. Fear. Fear of rejection. What if they get angry or upset? Fear of conflict. I don't want to ruin the relationship. Fear of saying the wrong thing. I might make things worse. When fear dominates, people often avoid the conversation entirely, speak defensively or aggressively, over-apologize or downplay their perspective. The key to mastering difficult conversations is managing your fear while maintaining clarity and respect. The psychology of conflict. Humans are wired for survival, not comfort. Conflict activates the brain's threat response, increasing stress and reducing rational thinking. Emotional hijacking. When emotions run high, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, can override logical thinking. Confirmation bias. During conflict, we tend to see only evidence supporting our viewpoint, ignoring facts or the other person's perspective. Defensiveness. When people feel attacked, they protect themselves, making resolution harder. Understanding this helps you approach the conversation with empathy, control, and strategy. Steps to handle difficult conversations. 1. Prepare mentally. Before entering the conversation, clarify your purpose. Know what you want to achieve. Identify facts, not assumptions. Separate your feelings from objective observations. Visualize a calm outcome. Imagine yourself speaking confidently, calmly, and respectfully. Preparation reduces anxiety and increases your control over the situation. 2. Start with empathy. Begin by acknowledging the other person's perspective. I understand this has been challenging for you. I can see why you'd feel frustrated about this. Empathy isn't agreement. It's a way to build rapport and reduce defensiveness. People listen better when they feel heard. 3. Use I statements. Avoid blaming or accusing language. Frame your message around your feelings and observations. Instead of, "You never listen to me," say, "I feel unheard when I'm interrupted during meetings." I statements reduce defensiveness and make your perspective clear without creating conflict. 4. Stick to facts, not judgments. Focus on what happened, not on labeling the other person. Facts. The report was submitted 2 days late. Judgment. You are always careless. Facts are neutral and easier for others to accept, even in tense situations. 5. Listen actively. Even during conflict, listening is essential. Let the other person speak without interruption. Reflect and paraphrase their points. So what I hear is. Ask clarifying questions. Can you explain what you mean by that? Listening shows respect and keeps the conversation productive. 6. Control your tone and body language. Your voice and posture convey as much as your words. Keep a calm, steady tone. Maintain open posture. Avoid crossed arms or aggressive gestures. Use pauses to think before responding. This signals control and confidence, even in tense moments. 7. Focus on solutions, not blame. Shift the conversation toward resolution. Ask, how can we prevent this in the future? Propose compromises. What if we tried this approach next time? When you focus on solutions, conflict becomes collaborative instead of adversarial. Story. Turning conflict into respect. Ravi, a team leader, faced a challenging situation. One team member repeatedly missed deadlines, frustrating the rest of the group. Instead of sending an angry email, Ravi scheduled a private conversation. He prepared carefully, identified facts, visualized a calm outcome, and planned I statements. During the conversation, he acknowledged the team members' workload. I know you've been managing a heavy schedule. He stated the impact. When deadlines are missed, it delays the entire team. He asked for solutions. How can we make this process easier to stay on track? The team member responded openly, explaining challenges Ravi hadn't considered. Together, they created a new system that improved performance. Conflict was resolved, and respect grew on both sides. 8. Know when to pause. Sometimes, emotions are too high to continue. It's okay to pause and return later. I'd like to continue this conversation after we've both had a chance to reflect. Pausing prevents escalation and gives both parties time to regain composure. Practical exercises to improve your difficult conversation skills. Role play. Practice challenging conversations with a friend or coach. Simulate tension and rehearse calm responses. Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and practice I statements while maintaining calm posture and tone. Reflective journaling. After a tough conversation, write down what worked well. What could you improve next time? How did your tone, words, and body language impact the outcome? Mindful breathing. Before responding, take a deep breath. Slow exhalation lowers stress hormones and allows for thoughtful responses. Common mistakes to avoid. Reacting emotionally, anger or frustration escalates conflict. Interrupting, cutting someone off shuts down communication. Blaming or shaming, accusations provoke defensiveness. Over-apologizing, unnecessary apologies can signal weakness if overused. Ignoring the issue, avoidance prolongs tension and erodes trust. Closing thought for Chapter 9. Difficult conversations are not obstacles, they are opportunities. Opportunities to build trust, demonstrate leadership, strengthen relationships, solve problems collaboratively. When you approach conflict with preparation, empathy, calmness, and a solutions-focused mindset, you don't just survive difficult conversations, you thrive in them. Remember, confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to speak clearly, respectfully, and assertively even when fear is present. In the next chapter, we'll explore mastering persuasion, influence without manipulation, a critical skill to communicate ideas effectively and inspire action. Chapter 10, Mastering Persuasion, Influence without Manipulation. Persuasion is one of the most powerful communication skills you can develop. It's the ability to share your ideas, inspire action, and create agreement without forcing or manipulating others. But here's the key distinction. Persuasion is not about tricking people or bending them to your will. True persuasion is rooted in trust, credibility, empathy, and clarity. When done ethically, it benefits both you and the listener. In this chapter, we'll explore the psychology behind persuasion, actionable strategies, and exercises to help you influence effectively while maintaining respect and authenticity. The psychology of persuasion. Humans are influenced in predictable ways. Psychologists have identified key principles that guide decision-making. Reciprocity. People feel compelled to return favors. If you provide value first, they are more likely to listen and agree. Consistency. People want to act in ways that align with their previous beliefs or commitments. Social proof. People follow the actions of others, especially in uncertain situations. Authority. We are more likely to be persuaded by someone perceived as knowledgeable or credible. Liking. We are influenced by those we like, trust, and relate to. Scarcity. People value what is rare or limited. Understanding these principles helps you communicate persuasively while remaining ethical. Persuasion starts with listening. Persuasion is not about talking more, it's about understanding first. Active listening reveals the other person's needs, values, and concerns. Once you understand what matters to them, You can frame your message in a way that resonates. Think of persuasion as building a bridge. You meet the listener where they are and gradually guide them to your perspective. Strategies to persuade ethically. 1. Frame your message around their needs. People respond best when your ideas align with their goals or values. Instead of saying, "You should adopt this method because it's efficient," say, "This method can save you time and reduce stress," which helps you focus on what matters most. Framing your message around their priorities makes it compelling. 2. Tell stories, not just facts. Stories engage the brain differently than data alone. They create emotional connection and make your ideas memorable. Example: data, sales increased by 20% last quarter. Story: last quarter, our team faced tough competition, but by focusing on customer feedback, we achieved a 20% increase in sales. Imagine what we can do next quarter with this approach. Stories make ideas tangible and relatable. 3. Use social proof. People trust the choices of others. References, testimonials, and examples can strengthen your message. Our clients who adopted this system reported 30% faster results. This approach is used by industry leaders like Name and Name. Social proof reduces resistance and builds credibility. 4. Ask questions to guide agreement. Instead of telling someone what to do, lead them to your conclusion through questions. What outcome would you like to achieve? How could this approach help you reach that goal? This makes persuasion collaborative rather than confrontational. 5. Body language and tone matter. Your delivery is as important as your words. Maintain eye contact and open posture. Use a calm, confident tone. Smile naturally to appear approachable. When your body language aligns with your words, your influence increases. Story: persuasion in action. Anita, a project manager, wanted her team to adopt a new workflow. Initially, some team members resisted. Instead of forcing her idea, Anita listened to concerns about workload, framed the workflow as a tool to reduce stress and save time, shared a story of another team that succeeded using the same method, asked, "How could this approach help us meet our goals?" The team agreed to try it. Over time, they saw results and fully adopted the new system. Anita persuaded without pressure, creating buy-in and trust. Practical exercises to improve persuasion. Identify core values. Before persuading, write down the listener's likely goals or values. Frame your message around those priorities. Storytelling drill. Take a factual statement and turn it into a short, engaging story. Practice delivering it aloud with emotion and clarity. Role-play questions. Practice guiding someone to an agreement using open-ended questions. Focus on listening, reflecting, and gently leading the conversation. Mirror practice. Observe your own body language, facial expressions, and tone while presenting ideas. Adjust to appear confident and approachable. Ethical persuasion review. After each persuasive conversation, reflect. Did I respect the listener's autonomy? Did I focus on mutual benefit? Did I communicate clearly and authentically? Common mistakes to avoid. Manipulation. Using fear, guilt, or deception erodes trust. Overloading with data. Too many facts can confuse rather than persuade. Ignoring emotions. People are moved by feelings, not logic alone. Speaking without listening. Persuasion without understanding fails. Being aggressive. Pressure reduces cooperation and damages relationships. The role of confidence in persuasion. Confidence amplifies persuasion. When you believe in your message and deliver it with clarity and calm authority, people trust your judgment. They are more open to your ideas. You inspire action without coercion. Confidence plus empathy plus clarity equals influence that feels natural and ethical. Closing thought for Chapter 10. Persuasion is not about winning arguments. It's about guiding others with respect, empathy, and clarity. When you combine listening, storytelling, social proof, open-ended questions, and confident delivery, your ability to influence grows dramatically. But always remember, influence without integrity is manipulation. True persuasion benefits everyone involved. As you practice these skills, you'll notice something remarkable. People start listening to you more, valuing your input, and responding positively to your ideas. That is the power of ethical persuasion. In the next chapter, we'll explore building lasting relationships, communication that leaves a positive impression, completing the journey toward confident, influential, and meaningful communication. Chapter 11. Building lasting relationships, communication that leaves a positive impression. Communication is not just about exchanging information. It's about connecting with people, building trust, and creating relationships that endure. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored confidence, listening, questioning, persuasion, and handling difficult conversations. But the ultimate goal of all these skills is one thing: lasting, meaningful relationships, both personally and professionally. In this chapter, we'll explore how to communicate in ways that make people feel valued, respected, and genuinely connected, leaving a positive impression that lasts long after the conversation ends. Why relationships matter. Humans are social beings. Studies show that strong relationships are linked to greater happiness and life satisfaction, lower stress and better health, increased professional success, more opportunities for growth and collaboration. Whether in personal life, business, or community, the quality of your relationships shapes the quality of your life. And communication is the bridge that forms and strengthens these connections. The core principles of building lasting relationships. 1. Authenticity. People can sense insincerity immediately. Authenticity is about being true to yourself while respecting others. Share your thoughts honestly but kindly. Avoid pretending to be someone you're not. Admit when you don't know something. Humility builds trust. Authenticity encourages others to be themselves, deepening the connection. 2. Consistent presence. Being reliable and consistent in your communication shows respect and care. Respond to messages or emails promptly. Follow through on promises. Show up for people during important moments. Consistency builds trust. People know they can count on you, which strengthens any relationship. 3. Empathy and understanding. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Listen deeply without judgment. Validate emotions, even if you don't fully agree. I understand why you feel that way. Show support through words and actions. Empathy creates emotional bonds, making relationships resilient even during conflicts. 4. Appreciation and recognition. Everyone wants to feel valued. Expressing appreciation strengthens connection. Thank people for their efforts. Celebrate achievements, big or small. Recognize the impact they have on you or the team. Even small acts of recognition leave a lasting positive impression. Story: turning a connection into a lasting relationship. Rohan, a young professional, noticed a senior colleague always helped others without expecting anything in return. Instead of just admiring, Rohan applied what he learned in this audiobook. He genuinely thanked his colleague for guidance. He listened carefully to their advice and applied it. He followed up regularly with updates, showing appreciation. Over time, a strong, mutually respectful relationship developed. Not only did Rohan gain a mentor, but he also learned the importance of consistent presence, empathy, and appreciation in building trust. Strategies to build lasting relationships. 1. Be a great listener. As we discussed in earlier chapters, listening is more than hearing. It's about understanding, validating, and connecting. Use active listening techniques. Nod, paraphrase, and ask clarifying questions. Avoid interrupting or jumping to advice unless asked. Make the person feel seen and heard. Listening creates a foundation for trust and closeness. 2. Practice emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is your ability to manage your emotions and understand others. Be aware of your reactions in conversations. Recognize emotions in others and respond thoughtfully. Adapt your communication style based on the other person's needs. High EQ allows you to navigate relationships smoothly, even in tense situations. 3. Communicate with clarity and respect. Clear, respectful communication reduces misunderstandings. Speak honestly but gently. Avoid passive-aggressive remarks or sarcasm. Clarify expectations to prevent conflict. Respectful communication fosters mutual understanding and strengthens bonds. 4. Offer value without expecting anything in return. Relationships thrive on generosity and support. Share knowledge, resources, or connections. Be willing to help without immediate reciprocation. Celebrate others' success genuinely. Giving value without strings attached builds admiration and loyalty naturally. 5. Resolve conflicts gracefully. No relationship is free from disagreements. Handling conflicts effectively is key. Address issues promptly, not after resentment builds. Use I statements to express your perspective. Focus on solutions rather than blame. Forgive and let go of minor grievances. Conflict, when managed well, can strengthen a relationship rather than weaken it. Practical exercises. Daily connection check. Reach out to one person each day, friend, family, or colleague. Ask a meaningful question and listen actively. Appreciation practice. Write down 3 things you appreciate about someone and tell them sincerely. Notice the positive effect on your bond. Relationship audit. List your key relationships and identify where communication can improve. Focus on consistency, empathy, and clarity in these areas. Conflict reflection. Think of a past disagreement. How could you have approached it with empathy, clarity, or active listening? Apply that learning in future situations. Common mistakes to avoid. Taking people for granted. Relationships require attention and effort. Over-communicating without listening. Communication is a balance. Avoiding difficult conversations. Unresolved issues erode trust. Being inconsistent. Inconsistency signals unreliability. Focusing only on your needs. Lasting relationships are mutually supportive. The long-term benefits of strong relationships. Support network. Life becomes easier and more fulfilling with people who have your back. Professional growth. Mentorship, collaboration, and opportunities increase. Emotional well-being. Feeling valued reduces stress and boosts happiness. Influence and trust. People respect and listen to those who consistently demonstrate care and integrity. Resilience. Strong relationships help you navigate challenges more effectively. Closing thought for Chapter 11. Building lasting relationships is the ultimate goal of confident communication. It's about connecting deeply, showing empathy, maintaining authenticity, and providing value consistently. Every conversation is an opportunity to leave a positive impression. Every act of listening, appreciation, or understanding strengthens the bond. And when you combine all the skills from this audiobook, confidence, presence, listening, questioning, persuasion, and handling conflict, you become a communicator who is respected, trusted, and genuinely valued. Remember, words are powerful, but the impact of your presence, your empathy, and your consistency lasts far longer than anything you say. Communicate with care. Listen with intent. Lead with authenticity. That is how you build relationships that stand the test of time. The conclusion: becoming a confident communicator. Congratulations! You've reached the final chapter of this journey. Over the past 11 chapters, we've explored the foundations of confidence, the power of listening, asking thoughtful questions, handling difficult conversations, mastering persuasion, and building lasting relationships. Each chapter was designed not just to inform, but to transform the way you communicate. Now, it's time to bring all those lessons together, reflect on the key takeaways, and see how to turn knowledge into action. Because true communication mastery is about practice, consistency, and intentionality. The journey you've taken. Let's briefly revisit the path you've traveled. The foundation of confidence. You learned that confidence starts with knowing your worth. Believing in yourself sets the stage for effective communication. Breaking the fear barrier. You discovered strategies to overcome anxiety in conversations, replacing fear with calm preparation and presence. The psychology of presence. You explored how to command attention and make your presence felt, even before saying a word. Body language secrets. You understood the unspoken messages you send and how to use gestures, posture, and eye contact to communicate powerfully. The power of voice, tone, pace, and clarity shape how your message is received, and mastering them builds trust instantly. Listening like a leader. Active listening makes people feel valued, respected, and connected, strengthening every relationship you have. The art of asking questions. Thoughtful, open-ended questions unlock deeper conversations and create meaningful engagement. The confidence loop. Practicing communication consistently, reflecting on feedback, and making adjustments creates natural, lasting confidence. Handling difficult conversations. Facing tension with empathy, clarity, and calm ensures conflict strengthens relationships rather than harming them. Mastering persuasion. You learn to influence ethically by connecting with others' needs, using stories, and framing messages thoughtfully. Building lasting relationships. Authenticity, empathy, appreciation, and consistency turn everyday interactions into meaningful, enduring connections. Each chapter provided tools, exercises, and insights, but the magic happens when you put them into practice consistently. The core principles to remember. Here are the essential principles that form the backbone of confident communication. Confidence is learned. It's a skill, not a trait. Anyone can develop it with practice. Listening is power. People will remember how you made them feel, not just your words. Questions build connection. Curiosity opens doors to understanding, trust, and engagement. Empathy creates influence. When people feel understood, they are more receptive to your ideas. Clarity and respect win. Speak clearly, respectfully, and purposefully. This builds credibility. Consistency builds trust. Your words and actions must align for people to rely on and respect you. Practice makes permanent. Repetition and reflection are the fastest paths to mastery. Ethical influence inspires. Persuasion without integrity is manipulation. Influence with respect strengthens relationships. Turning knowledge into action. Reading or listening is only the first step. To truly communicate with confidence, you must apply these principles every day. Start small. Speak up in a meeting, share your opinion with a friend, or ask an open-ended question in a casual conversation. Reflect and adjust. After each interaction, ask yourself, what went well? What could I improve? How did I make the other person feel? Commit to growth. Like any skill, communication improves over time. Celebrate small wins and learn from mistakes without judgment. Embrace fear. Nervousness is normal. Instead of avoiding it, channel it as energy and motivation. Seek feedback. Honest, constructive feedback accelerates progress. Others can see things you might miss. The mindset of a confident communicator. Confident communicators share certain attitudes and beliefs. Growth mindset. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn. Curiosity. People are fascinating. Ask, explore, and engage genuinely. Resilience. Mistakes and misunderstandings happen. Adapt, forgive, and move forward. Authenticity. Be yourself. People trust and connect with genuine individuals. Empowerment. Your words can lift, inspire, and influence positively. Use that power responsibly. Story: The Transformation. Consider Priya, a young professional who dreaded public speaking. Early in her career, she avoided meetings and rarely shared ideas. Priya started small. She practiced the confidence loop, listened actively, asked thoughtful questions, and worked on her tone and presence. Over months, she noticed subtle changes. People listened when she spoke, respected her opinions, and even sought her input. By the end of the year, Priya was leading team meetings with calm authority, resolving conflicts gracefully, and building strong professional relationships. Her transformation wasn't overnight. It was consistent practice, reflection, and application of principles she learned step by step. The lesson: confidence and influence are built, not inherited. Exercises to solidify your skills. Daily Conversation Challenge. Engage in one meaningful conversation each day using active listening and open-ended questions. Weekly Reflection. Review your interactions. Celebrate successes, note areas for improvement, and plan adjustments. Role-play difficult conversations. Practice handling conflicts or persuasion scenarios with a trusted friend or mentor. Appreciation Journal. Record acts of kindness, gratitude, and relationship building daily to reinforce positive habits. Confidence Visualization. Before important interactions, visualize yourself speaking clearly, confidently, and connecting effectively. Final words of encouragement. Communicating with confidence is a journey, not a destination. There will be challenges, awkward moments, and setbacks, but each step forward builds your skill and your presence. Remember, speak with clarity and purpose. Listen to understand, not just to respond. Ask questions that create connection. Handle conflicts with empathy and calm. Influence ethically and with integrity. Build lasting relationships through authenticity, appreciation, and consistent presence. When you integrate these principles into your daily life, communication becomes more than words. It becomes a tool to inspire, influence, and connect. Closing thought. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. Now, it's time to step into the world as a confident communicator. Speak your truth, listen deeply, ask boldly, persuade ethically, and build relationships that last a lifetime. Every conversation is an opportunity. Every interaction is a chance to leave a positive impression. Make each word, gesture, and pause count. The world is waiting for your voice. Use it with confidence, clarity, and care.